Hello beautiful people of the internet, it's Iz here, and I am back with another video. I feel weird like making legacy videos knowing that the show's over. I haven't really done much with legacies in the last couple months to really like tell myself like I still love the show. Like this is always gonna be like one of my #1 shows, and you know, it's brought me so much love, it's brought me so much family, it's brought me so much friends. I just wanted to say that before I get into it, but this is a video that I do for every season of the show I have in the past. This is my top 10 scenes of the entire season, which is season 4, or the last and final season. I do plan on doing a whole show scenes, so like my favorite scenes out of the entire series. I plan to do that with TVD, the originals, and a bunch of other shows that I've watched. I've recently started getting back into reacting. I haven't really posted any reactions yet, but I have edited them. I just haven't posted them yet. I just wanted to get that little message out there. We're gonna get into my top 10 scenes of season 4. Keep in mind, this entire season was all over the place, I'm not gonna lie. But I did love it, and I love this show, and I wish we would have gotten a 5th season because I feel like they could have done so much more with it. So let's just get straight into it. Remember, these are my opinions. You don't have to agree with it. Make sure you comment down below your favorite scenes of the entire season, and we can just have a little chat about it. Most of these have hope in them. Not surprised there. Let's just get in straight to it. We're going to start with my 10th favorite. Or like we're gonna go 10 up to my first favorite. So I got mine written down right here in my notebook. My number 10 is Jed and Ben's first kiss. We had waited for a few episodes for this couple to kind of, they have that tension, they don't have that tension, they have it to the point where you know something's gonna happen with them, but you don't know what direction it's going because of what Ben was or what Ben is. I've always been a big fan of what Jed's backstory is, and when I talked to Ben Levin, who plays Jed, he said that Jed's storyline was coming up, and it wasn't exactly what I was expecting it to be, but I was so excited. I've always wanted Jed to be sexually fluid, and I've said that from the beginning. I actually wanted him and Raphael to get together, but I knew that probably wasn't going to happen. So as soon as they brought Ben in, who is played by Zane Phillips, who's just this incredible human being who's thriving, we love him, I was really like rooting for this couple to become a thing. And you know, it was pretty big among the Handon fan base, who, you know, we like, oh, Jed and Ben are like just like so cute together. I can see them working out. But there was a lot of like baggage that came with both characters, especially like Jed's backstory and Ben like being this powerful god who is comfortable in his sexuality, who knows who he is. And then you see Jed, who throughout the entire show always struggled with like who he was, and we kind of got like a reason behind that because of the jackass that he had as a father, who really just like basically bullied him his entire life.
My father was an abusive bully.
And you kind of see like Jed like grew up thinking that's being mean and being not so vulnerable with people is the way that life should have been, especially for a werewolf.
Because when I got to the Salvatore school, I became a bully too.
Who was basically forced to fight each other in order to trigger their vampire or their curse. And I know that's like, it's like a weird like insight to what this scene is, but like you really see it throughout this episode. Like Jed has these hallucinations of going back in time, like when, you know, his dad did all this stuff, and how he triggered his curse was killing his father.
So I killed him instead. That's how I activated my curse.
And which is another little plot hole because technically it's in a human life, but I don't know. I'm rewatching TVD right now, and I'm just like, all these plot holes that Legacies has coming to my head. But anyways, my number 10 is Jed and Ben's first kiss. I love how vulnerable Jed becomes, opening up to Ben, and like Ben being that allowing Jed to be the one that like initiates the kiss.
That's why I've been wanting to talk to you. Ever since you told me your story. To tell you that I know how you feel. To tell you how I feel.
He's like, you know, we don't have to do this if you don't want to. And, you know, he lets Jed do it rather than him knowing that he probably really wants to kiss him. And, but yeah, I spoke for like 15 minutes on that. But yeah, that is my number 10. My number 9 is actually another Ben and Jed scene. It's more so Ben and Zayn's acting and his performance. One of the first times that we see Zayn on screen is the scene with him and Asher. And he's like, this is peak acting right here. I will forever love one of these scenes. But he, you know, he's going up to his father asking, you know, to save his lover's life, and he comes back and he finds Asher dead already, and he just lets out this like heart-wrenching scream. That just like fills up my entire body. Like when an actor is able to like bring chills to me, like I know that they're just amazing. And so the scene where Ben finds out that Jed is dead, or that Alaric killed him, he lets out this heart-wrenching scream. It like kind of parallels the moment that he found out that Asher was dead. It's just such an incredible performance. It's literally like 3 seconds long, but I could watch that scene like over and over and over again. And it just like, it never does not bring tears to my eyes. Like I when I'm thinking about it, my eyes are watering. And I just love the dynamic between, you know, these two boys who barely know each other falling in love pretty fast and knowing that they're falling in love. And I just feel like, I don't know, I just love the dynamic between Zayn and Ben as well. Like their chemistry is incredible. So yeah, I think those are the only two Jed and Ben scenes on here. So I'm glad I kind of talked to them about them a little bit. So, oh my god, my mouth is like drooling. Let's get straight into the next one, which is my number 8. My number 8 is, I can't remember what episode it is, but Hope, it was at the end of the episode, and Hope was talking about betrayal basically, and like it seemed like her humanity was coming back on, but it's when she kills that innocent man, and it kind of parallels Elena in the Vampire Diaries, where she's like walking straight back into Mystic Falls after being like gone forever. What I really loved about this scene was like, it was the first like full-on glimpse into Hope and her fighting her humanity, which is a true example of what vampires really go through throughout this universe, is like their humanity is like their one struggle, because especially like with Stefan or with Elena or Hope, you really see, you know, people who are usually these kind-hearted people, who have a heart of gold, and like, you know, who are this monstrous human or monstrous person, who have to feed on humans to survive, kind of break through with their humanity and struggle with their humanity.
I feel like I may actually be starting to feel things.
And that's what I loved about season 4, was Hope's struggle with her humanity, and like how she reacted after she killed Landon. And you never really saw much of a reaction, just like you never really saw much of a reaction out of Stefan, out of Elena, and after that humanity switch was flipped off. But in that scene where she kills that innocent bystander, or the innocent guy in the car, for one, Danielle fucking killed it. For two, it's just a breakthrough of like who Hope is a person, and like how her friends and her family mean the world to her, and that betrayal hurts her.
Things like gratitude. Betrayal. I even had the slightest urge to thank you for stopping.
And while her humanity is off, she's still fighting that to try to keep it together, because she doesn't want to feel, she doesn't want to grieve, she doesn't, you know, she killed her boyfriend, and she just doesn't, you know, her best friend betrayed her. And it's just a really beautiful scene, and I can go into depth about how incredible Danielle is, but we'll wait, because there's a lot of more scenes on here that shine on how amazing Danielle Rose Russell is. So my number 7, I think this scene is like the first scene that I cried like the most throughout this season 4, since when Hope died. But it's the scene where Hope and Landon reunite in limbo, and it's literally like 15 seconds, but they literally, the hug was it's okay. So the scene before where Hope is laying on the couch with Cleo, I knew that something was gonna happen. We always figured that Hope was gonna end up in limbo somehow, and that her and Landon were gonna like reunite in the limbo, but it still came as a shock to me because it literally paralleled 301, where she wouldn't wake up because she knew he was dead.
I think the only answer we really need at the moment is why Hope hasn't woken up yet.
And she didn't want to wake back up because she was in limbo with him. Landon had just said goodbye to his mom. He was in his vulnerable state, and he turns around and he sees the love of his life just standing there.
Hope?
And it was just a beautiful moment of like these two kids who have been in love with each other for like 2 years, never getting a break, never having a happy moment, finally having a moment of like just them two, nothing else going on, just them two on a pier hugging. And you know, it's the first time they've seen each other since Hope killed him, and I feel like Hope was very hesitant to hug him back. One thing about Landon is like Landon loves Hope with everything he has, and I don't think there's a moment where he can really truly be mad at her. While he may not agree with things that she does, or she might not agree with things that he does, it's the same thing, you know, like they're in love. They will always be in love, and you know, the universe kept them apart, or tried to keep them apart for so long, to the point where they got kind of tired of fighting, but know in reality that their love for each other is always gonna stump everything. So no matter what universe, whatever, they're gonna love each other. My number 6, which I just talked about to you guys, was like one of the times I really kind of like, wow, I expected to cry. I felt a lot of emotions during it, but I didn't really cry, was when Hope died with Freya. I was really curious on how Hope was gonna die. I didn't think, you know, I knew that they were gonna have it happen at some point because she was gonna become a tri-bird at some point. I was actually in Conyers, Georgia, when watching this episode. We actually got to see one of Legacies episodes filmed in Covington, and that night, the night after was when 403 aired, and we were in our Airbnb, Robin and I, and we watched this episode live, and we figured that Hope was going to die in this episode, but we didn't really know how it was going to happen. We also knew that Freya was going to be in an episode, or she's going to be in this episode. I thought the way that they did it was perfect. She died in the arms of one of her family members, not in a painful way. Like, Freya stopped her heart, and the most heartbreaking thing was that just hearing Hope's heart like just stop. But I definitely, after rewatching it, I kind of shed more tears than I did in my reaction, which is weird. I think both Robin and I were in disbelief that like one of our favorite characters was dead. Even though we knew she was going to come back, we didn't know what was going to happen. At the end of the episode, fucking Mal or Caleb, whatever his name is, Caleb took her, and you know, we didn't know really what was going to happen. So my number 5 is when Lizzie tells Hope that she loves her.
I hate you for being my friend and for being a part of my weird, messed up family and for making me love you, Hope Michelson.
Lizzie and Hope have been one of my favorite friendships of the entire show. I wasn't a huge fan of Lizzie in season 1, and I think a lot of people know that. But Lizzie has become like one of my top 3 characters of the entire TVD universe. In a way, Lizzie and I are very much alike. I wasn't really that, mean girl in high school and stuff like that, but we've dealt with a lot of issues, not thinking we fit in, and being kind of like the outcast of the entire family. And so she became like one of these characters that I kind of can look up to and kind of like feel where she's coming from. And I didn't really notice that until like, I think it was like episode 15 of season 1, where my love for Josie kind of declined and my love for Lizzie started. I could really see where they kind of changed characters in a way. And I'm not trying to say that to like all the people who like Josie. I just wanted to point that out, that like, for me, Lizzie really became one of my favorite characters as soon as Josie started to decline for me. I feel like I couldn't love both of them, and because there's just so much going on with both of those characters that I feel like, in a way, what Elena says it's okay, or Catherine says it's okay to love both of them, I can't love both of them. In this case of the Saltzman twins, I feel like I had to choose one or the other, because in a way, they're connected, but they're so divided in the way that they act. And Lizzie has just really become one of my favorite characters, and her dynamic with Hope was one that I always wanted to see start, that I knew was going to happen, that they were going to become this unbreakable friendship and bond and sisterhood. I could sit there and watch Danielle and Jenny's chemistry for ages. I think that they are just so amazing on screen together, and I never get tired of watching them. And I feel like the big I love you was like, Hope has lost most of her family, doesn't really see her aunts or uncles anymore, and I feel like her friendship with Lizzie and her friendship and her relationship with Landon have just really helped her open up as a person since her parents died. And I swear I thought Lizzie was going to be the one to turn her humanity on, or have a bit of push to keeping her humanity at a certain level. In a way, she was. And I feel like that I love you scene was a big push for Hope to get to the point where she's like, oh, I need to turn my humanity on. And the help of growth with Lizzie and Hope, that I love you scene is probably one of my favorites. My number 4 is 417, I believe, when Hope and Landon are in limbo together, and they say their final goodbye, and she's like, I'll never forget you, I'll always love you.
I will always love you. I'll never forget you.
I think it's self-explanatory. Hope and Landon have been like my rock this entire show. Like, I wouldn't be this invested in this, I don't know what the right word is, I wouldn't be this emotionally attached to this show if it wasn't for them two. I've never really been emotionally attached to a show before Legacies. I wasn't even attached to TVD. I wasn't even attached to the originals. It wasn't until Legacies where I was like, I found a couple, or I found 2 characters that I really like love and that I will literally do anything to defend, and Hope and Landon became that couple. And seeing them go through all this shit together, and like all these terrible ups and downs with their relationship, and them just wanting to be in love, and them literally forbidden loves, it's just emotional to see that this goodbye that they have literally ends with Hope reminding him that no matter what and no matter who, that she was always going to love him, and that she was never going to forget who he was. And it kind of parallels to the back where Landon in season 2 actually forgot who she was, and she never stopped loving him, and he in a way he never stopped loving her, even though his memories were never there. You know what I mean? Like he loved her when he was dead. He loved her. He kept seeing flashbacks of her. I don't know, I would do anything for this couple. I would do anything for the actors. Aria and Danielle, like, they've had a huge part in like where I am today. As weird as that sounds, I know like it's cliche or whatever to say like a show or actors have a part of in who you are as a person throughout your entire life. But for me, this show is a family. This show has brought me so many friends, getting to meet the cast in person, and I feel like you never really know how much a show can impact a person until you meet all these people who end up being, your family. So yeah, Anyways, to get emotional. Trying not trying to be. My number 3 is when Hope and Dark Hope are fighting. So you see them outside in the corridor, like in New Orleans, basically, and they're fighting. You kind of see them, Hope trying to break through, but humanity Hope still trying to hold on to that.
You looked pretty surprised to see me.
What's surprising is how annoying you are. If you've come to give me a lecture, save it. I've had enough of them today.
Or your bad side doesn't define the person that you are. It's your good side that does. And it's Hope trying to not become a person that her father was, rather than seeing the good sides of her dad. And I feel like bringing in the Michelsons and bringing in her family to turn her humanity on was a really big thing. And I always said that it was either Landon, her family, or Lizzie. Those are the 3 people that I saw her humanity kind of coming back for. Just seeing her fight these 2 sides of her, a side that she never wanted to have anything to do with, which is her vampire, no humanity side, to a part of herself that it was there, but she was always afraid to,
Because I am my father's daughter, not you. And today reminded me of how much he and my family love and have sacrificed for me.
show or whatever. And I feel like Vulnerable Hope is just one of my favorite things to watch, and seeing her kind of fight her dark side was just amazing. So that's my number 3. My number oh no, this is a different one. I got confused for a second. Hope breaking down in the cafeteria area, grand area, I can't remember what they called it, where they all meet for meetings. And she's like, someone kill me, or whatever she said. First of all, Danielle's performance was fucking amazing. She's still seeing this, dark side of her. And, she's seeing, or not the dark side, she's seeing the light side of her trying to break through, and she really doesn't want it to break through. And she's fighting it, and then finally, she's just like, she goes crazy. She's like, I need somebody to kill me. I need somebody to kill me, please.
What are you all doing? Don't you see I'm about to kill you all? Someone take me out! Someone take me out!
And I just feel like Danielle's performance of that was just one of the best things, anything I could ask for. Like, I would sit there and watch that scene over and over and over again. My number 1 was in the finale. This is probably one of the best scenes of the entire show. I could sit here and watch this scene over and over again. I wanted this character to come back forever. Never thought I would, because the actor who plays him just never thought he would join Legacies. It's when Hope got to have that last goodbye from her dad. It was just the perfect way to kind of end Hope's story and like start a new one, because she's grown the last 4 years or whatever timeline Legacies is on, thinking that her dad never really found peace, to only find out that, her boyfriend is this also gatekeeper of limbo, finding out that her dad had already gone to peace, and that, Klaus sits there on the screen talking about all this stuff, and he's like, you are my peace.
Because you are my peace.
And I feel like Landon had such a huge part in like bringing this final goodbye to the love of his life, even though he says he doesn't feel any emotions, but he's always feeling emotions towards Hope, the touching, the grabbing of her hair, the touching of her face. He's on this plane of existence where he's not supposed to feel these emotions, but he has all these powerful emotions towards the love of his life. And whether people want to believe it or not, Landon was a big part in like Hope having that final goodbye with her dad, and I feel like it was just so beautiful to watch. But yeah, guys, that is my top 10 scenes of season 4 of Legacies. I hope you enjoyed. Remember, I'm slowly breaking back into it. Like I said, the holidays are a crazy time. I work in retail, so it's been kind of hectic for me. But just keep an eye out. Definitely have some videos for you guys coming. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please comment down below. I love you guys. Remember, stay beautiful. You're beautiful. Bye, guys.